Check, please.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Everything Money. We are back. Paul, Seth, and Mo to bring you some news. AT&T is in the news. The stock is down today. They are cutting their dividend, Paul. We talked about this in the past. They're splitting off. It gets a little confusing with the Discovery, yada, yada, yada. Paul, give us your thoughts on AT&T stock. We will go over the numbers, use our stock analyzer tool on this dinosaur of a stock, and see what you should be paying for this moving forward. But Paul, give me the news. You know I love you. And Mo, you know I dearly love you as well. Go ahead, Paul.
All right, guys. Well, thanks very much, Seth. Guys, first off, follow us on Instagram, Everything Money Investing, and then follow Seth, Mo, and I personally. It really helps us out with our egos.
Yes.
So first off, it is currently February 1st, right? And today the stock is down 4 or 5% because it's a dividend cut. May 2021. Last week, AT&T announced it'd be spinning off its Warner Media unit and cutting its dividend.
Dun, dun,
This is not news.
It's not news.
If you look at our past videos, we talked about this.
Everyone knew this was coming. They literally said,
This is May.
we are going to cut our dividend in half.
So they cut it, I think, a little less than half. I think they're going to $1.11 per share.
Yeah, that's right.
The stock is down to $23, $24 a share. Guys, I'm adamantly opposed to cutting the dividend in half. I want the dividend cut to zero.
Why is that?
So AT&T has a lot of debt, and they are selling for a very low multiple. Guys, dividends are very tax inefficient. What people don't realize is when you get money from a dividend, that's money that's already been paid. It's already had taxes already charged to it on the corporate level. That's after taxes, and then they pay you out again, and you pay taxes on top of it. This is why I always say when people say, oh, the dividend tax is so low. Well, no. If you add up the tax before it on the corporate level, then it's not very low. It's actually very high. So it's very inefficient. If they just keep the money within the company and buy back shares or pay down debt, there's no tax liability for you as the investor.
Paul, I think normal investors out there, especially young ones, we have this concept that the only way we can make money, of course, is if the stock goes up. So this dividend is so juicy. There's whole dividend investing pages dedicated to buying stocks like this that haven't moved in 30 years.
And it's people that are older, too, that want the generation of income. Like, I remember going to a 4th of July party, and this old person, he came up, he's like, I'm so mad at AT&T. They're cutting their dividend. I'm like, well, I think it's a good thing. He's like, that's because you don't need the income that I need. I'm like, oh.
Well, maybe.
Learn options,
I'm gonna
pal.
go get a hot dog.
Learn options. So let me give an example here about why when people think that, oh, I'm only going to make money off a stock if they get a dividend. Let's say there's a company, and let's to make it simple, they do $10 billion a year in profit. They have zero debt, and the bank account currently has $0 in it.
Go on.
Okay? But it makes $10 billion a year. They paid out everything in dividends, and they say, you know what? We're done paying dividends. Fast forward 10 years. The company still makes $10 billion in profit. So most investors would say, this thing is the same it was 10 years ago, but it also accrued $10 billion a year in its bank account. Now it has $100 billion in it. Would you pay more or less for this company with $100 billion in it versus zero, making the same amount of money?
Of course, more.
That's how you get your value, because then the stock price will go up because it has $100 billion in cash in there. They can do a one-time dividend, or they could buy back a ton of shares and you get a bigger piece of the company. Yes, you don't see the money day one in your company. It's no different than you owning a business personally and having a separate personal account and business account. Yeah, you have more control over the business account. I get that, but look at it from this standpoint. If they just accrue cash all day long till the cows come home, it's going to be a good thing because people do value the cash in the account. One of the things we don't do in our stock analyzer tool is assess the cash in the account versus debts, etc. We have not done that yet to our stock analyzer tool, and I'm okay with that right now. I'm just trying to value the company based on its future cash flow. But clearly, two companies that have the same revenue, same profit, same everything, but one has a larger bank account, which one would you pay more money for?
It's obvious when you say it like that.
That's when the stock price goes up. Because investors say, wait a second, this company makes $10 billion a year, this company makes $10 billion a year, this one has $1 billion in cash, this one has $1 trillion in cash. Which one are you going to pay more money for?
Mm-hmm.
That's just it.
Yeah, and unfortunately, a lot of people don't even look at it. Like, they don't look at that comparison at all. They go and look and say, who pays the highest percentage dividend? And I'm going to buy that company. Doesn't matter what is behind the books. That's it. I've made this analogy many times. Going and buying a stock for a dividend is like buying a ice cream sundae just to get the cherry on top. That's exactly what you're doing.
Mo, we were day trading yesterday. Someone brought this up. They named off some no-name company and said if you can get in by February 1st, you can get the dividend halfway through the month. And I was thinking to myself, well, I don't know anything about this company.
Exactly.
People, and that's why companies put higher didividends on there. And that's why AT&T announced today, hey, don't worry, our dividend's still very high for the market.
Yes.
They're still paying like a 4.125%.
Guys, dividend is very tax inefficient. AT&T, let's pull it up in our 8-pillar software. So we're going to 8 pillars, AT&T, and let's look at their balance sheet, because this is what concerns me about the balance sheet. Long-term liabilities. Ooh la la.
Give it to me now.
$280 billion. Guys, we want our long-term liabilities. If you watch our 8 pillars and all of our other videos, we want our long-term liabilities to be less than 5 times the average free cash for the last 5 years. Let's go to their main metrics page. And the 5-year average free cash flow for AT&T is $23 billion. They have $280 billion in debt. That's, what is that? 13 or 14 times more.
Yikes.
I don't like the debt here. To me, AT&T also said, we're cutting the dividend so we can make more acquisitions for growth. Oh, my Lord, please stop.
They said that?
Oh, yeah.
When?
Today. That article I sent, I think I sent a screenshot. I didn't send the article. And I'm like, please stop acquiring companies.
Why is that again? I know you've even said it, but pound it in my head.
Companies tend to do a really bad job acquiring businesses. They do it for the image of saying, look, we're being active. Look, we did everything we could.
They pay too much. They get companies that maybe they're more hyped.
They overpay to show that they're being active to their investors.
The entire situation that they're in is because of their irresponsible acquisitions.
I would argue that's probably the case.
Wow. Okay.
Companies tend to just overpay for acquisitions. It's okay to sit there and do nothing. It's okay to take that money, pay down debt, and buy back shares. If you're going to generate $23 billion a year in free cash flow, spend half of it buying back shares because the current PE is 9. Okay. The current price of free cash flow is what, 7? 8? Not even 8. Buy back your shares, pay down debt. And in 5, 6, 7 years, you're going to have a very, very attractive investment opportunity that will get recognized by investors.
Speaking of attractive, they also have to have the budget to pay these Eastern European models to.
What are you talking about?
Lily, hello, Paul,
she's not
my
Eastern
girlfriend.
European, is she?
I think she is, yeah, very much.
Well, but she's not off the boat.
No, but I mean, anyway. So what about the free cash, Paul? Can they pay this dividend? I mean, we always look.
Oh, they can easily afford this dividend. Now, remember, guys, I don't know the split of how much the new company is going to be. I haven't done the research. Well, we have to wait and look for how these numbers are going to look after the split, because they're splitting off Warner Media. They're doing this Discovery thing. There's going to be AT&T is going to be a lot different. I think a big part of it was taking off a lot of the debt off to a new company. So once that's handled, then I'll be able to assess the company and say, okay, what are we looking at here? Let's go look at the company and see how it looks. But until then, I'm looking at going, if it wasn't for AT&T's debt, I'd be buying AT&T all day long right now. That debt level is just so high.
The thing that gives me comfort about that debt level, though, is if you go and look at T-Mobile and Verizon, they have the same, similar, not as bad, but similar types of debt levels. So it is industry-wide.
That amount of debt?
Not that amount, but
Paul,
a large amount of debt.
You want to pull up Stock Analyzer tool?
Yeah, let's do that.
If you like the software behind Paul, we'll tell you at the end of the video how you can grab it. You can have these numbers in the palm of your hand. You can use Stock Analyzer to predict what you should be paying for companies, which is always confusing to somebody like me. So you'll see the deer in the headlights right now as we move into this. Paul, walk us through the process.
Okay, so
this is going to change.
What was that?
This is going to probably.
That's the thing here. Doing a Stock Analyzer tool is good for the company if it's going to be a company that's in its same shape and form and growing from here. In a few months, AT&T is going to be a totally different company financially because it's spinning off Warner Media. It's doing all these things, Discovery, all these things are happening. It's a totally different company. But let's look at the company based on if it was just staying itself. Now, this does not factor in debt. So you got to remember that. So let's do a 10-year analysis. And let's do revenue growth of -1, 1, and 3%. Because I do think inflation is going to help drive revenue up. Profit margin, 8, 8.5, and 9. Free cash flow margin, 12, 13, and 14. PE, 8, 10, 8, 11, and 14. Price of free cash flow, same thing. Let's do a 12.5% return. So guys, I always do 12.5% because investing in an ETF will get you 9 or 10%. So in order to get the proper margin of safety in a stock, just do 12.5%. If you're going to buy an individual stock, get a return for it as opposed to just doing an ETF and not even thinking about it.
Mm-hmm.
We hit the analyze button. And like I said, guys, the stock analyzer tool is so great because it asks for assumptions because we don't know the future, and every investment's the present value of all future cash flow. So it allows us to sit there and say, here are my assumptions. What should I pay today for that? Okay. It's not a screaming deal, but it's about in that mid-range. And I was doing it based on 11 PE and 11 price of free cash flow. That seems low to me. So I do think it's actually a pretty good deal. The question is that debt level. Companies with a lot of debt can get themselves into trouble. Yeah, Mo sits there and says, well, the industry is, then maybe you avoid the industry.
Yeah, maybe so. Exactly.
So, I mean, the AT&T, guys, if you're obsessed with the dividend, learn options. Learn how to sell covered calls because you'll make way more money learning how to sell covered calls on your current equity to make, I was talking to you the other day, Seth. I called you on Sunday and you're like, Paul, this stuff I'm learning. I'm like, yeah, but Seth, what you don't realize is when you decide to retire, you never have to pull your money. Just do options. I told that to my wife. Generate 6-7% possibly per year on your portfolio, and you'll never have to dip in.
Yeah. So on a stock like this, Paul, with $24, buy a contract for $2,400, sell a 4-day option, a 5-day, a 1-week option, a 3-week option, make $60 on that. And if it doesn't strike or doesn't hit the price, you start it all over again. You're cash flowing the market. This concept is so foreign to me, but I'm learning it, trying to.
Now, it's for the future because you have to have 100 shares of every company. Now, there is the thing called the poor man's covered call, but it's a good way to generate income. If that's what you really want, the income, then go ahead and do that. Is it tax efficient? I mean, it's ordinary income. But guys, I mean, don't cut your nose to spite your face. I do believe that people who love dividend. Listen, I like getting that check every month too. But at the end of the day, if I were running the company, I wouldn't be paying dividends out. I would be looking for, I'd be buying back shares if it was cheap. If it wasn't cheap, if the stock was overpriced and they had no growth opportunities, like real growth opportunities, not just ones they say are growth opportunities, then I'd pay a dividend.
If you're looking to buy back shares at a quicker pace, you can join myself, Paul, and Mo. We go live to the Bid and Ask Nation with day trading. You can do swing trading, long-term trading. Mo, tell us what's going on. Did anyone look at that ride with AT&T? What's going on over there?
So I'm going to look at this from a long-term perspective because this is a slow-moving stock. It's not the best to day trade. Maybe today, but even today, like you're minus 5% right now. And the problem is that 5% move happened pre-market. So you missed it. I mean, you didn't miss it. The market missed it. So this is going back to 2020. This is your high. This is your low. This is the first time I've ever actually noticed this with AT&T. And this is kind of your mid-range right here. So this is a 50% stock, and that mid-range price is $32. So here's the point of this. All this black is negative pressure pushing down on the stock, and it has a very difficult time. When it falls down, it tries to break up through 32 and falls back down, tries again, and it just keeps doing that. So if you want to get in this long term, I would wait until you take out this peak right here of about $27 and see if you can get a run to 32. Your trend looks okay, but you're starting to make this red line is starting to tip over right now. That's because all the issues that you've been having lately, all the news that's coming out, all the minus 5%. Last week it was down 8%. So overall, even from a value perspective with this company, I would let everything settle down, figure out what's going to happen with all this spin-off and shares and this and that, and we're done.
Yeah, Paul, tell the viewers how they can get the data behind you, baby.
So guys, we created a software because when we first started the channel, it was exploding, but we were using our own software and our user would say, hey, how do I get this data? So we just decided to hire 4 or 5 developers, invest hundreds of thousands, and we made the software. It is phenomenal. It gives you 30 years of financial data. You get the 8-pillar analysis, the stock analyzer tool. You get all of these things on the right that are coming. Everything here, retirement calculator, it's phenomenal. It tells you if you have enough not only for retirement, but even to live the rest of your life. It gives you the 8-pillar portfolio. You can put up to 50 stocks in a portfolio and see how they look together as one. But most importantly, guys, the thing we found most beneficial for our users is our chat. The entire app and the chat are all available in a very easy mobile app. You go in there, and if you're like the other people who feel alone in the investment journey, it allows you to discuss all of your investment ideas with other people. I get messages every day. Paul, I saw your video, and what about this? And I'm like, oh, I didn't think about that. Or, oh, this is why we said this. It's a great way to have conversations with everybody around you to bounce ideas off of. This is all available one of two ways, everythingmoney.com or Patreon. The benefit of everythingmoney.com is we don't charge sales tax yet because we're not big enough. It's $1 per day. Less than a cup of coffee, $1 per day gets you all the software. And the best part is, whatever price you pay today, you're locked in forever. So as our price goes up, you're still locked into that lower level.
Yeah, that's the good stuff. People signed up at $8 last year, and now it's up to $30. So, yeah, you can have this on your phone. You can chat with a couple clicks of the button. You can talk about AT&T. You can talk about day trading. That's our take. We will update you moving forward. There's a lot of chaos with AT&T as they start doing all this stuff, so we'll keep you in the loop. That's our take. Fondle thumbs up on the way out. We know you love you. See you.